519. I have a 621 Chinkashan the bullet train leaving from Tokyo Station at 6:21. The overhead sign gives it in Japanese and in English, and it gives the final end of this route in this direction. That's how many subway systems do it. It makes it relatively easy if you have a map and get used to that. I have to wonder what causes this steady and pretty good sized volume of water. You can tell it's steady by the rust in this area, including right down there. It's planned for, of course, in the design, but you wonder if it's a broken pipe or if it's a natural part of the underground thermal water system. Now, it sounds like a little bird, and it's a bird call, and you hear them throughout the train system, but it's not a bird. It's coming out of that speaker. What its function is, I don't know. What happens to it? The wind, air trying to fill this cavity blows it right straight back up because the wind continues unabated. Still going, still pretty good wind. Enough that would blow my hat off right now if I had one on. These are the people that qualify to sit in the seats that I'm in, although most of the time they're filled with people who do not qualify. And I'm not sure how quickly they get up when someone who does qualify shows up. Sink and Japanese style toilet. And that, I think, is the end of our car. Right outside my door is a concession stand. If you are that hungry and want to pay a lot to get it, but this trip doesn't last that long. Most of the mountains I've seen since Tokyo seem to be about that height and seem to be about that design, in other words, rolling rounded. Occasionally in the distance I'll see a slightly larger mountain, and of course earlier today I saw Mount Fuji. And I'll use it without the sheets because I'm too lazy to put the sheets on. Also notice the mats. Mats historically are plus or minus a couple inches, 3 feet by 6 feet, and it's the way you define a room. So in Japanese literature, a room will be defined as, the mats are slightly lumpy, just ever so slightly that you feel it, but they're quite comfortable. And if you're concerned about sleeping on the floor, I just stayed in my capsule in Tokyo, had mattresses, but they were of the cheap foam, and so therefore after who knows how long, you're actually sleeping right on the bare wood for all intents and purposes, because the mattress has lost any kind, the foam has lost any kind of spring whatsoever. The point is that I asked her, do you get very many people like me to speak English? And she said no. So I'm probably somewhat of a rarity, and therefore there's no need to have the menu in English. So she couldn't even tell me what it was that I would be paying for if I wanted to have dinner. Over there somewhere is a rather large park, and since it's already 3 or so in the afternoon, I'm going to wander over to the park and at the same time scope out the local area, which I usually do, and find myself a restaurant or two to go into. Restaurants oftentimes have pictures. Either TripAdvisor or a blogger commented it's more like a hotel than a hostel. One benefit is it has an elevator. And down here on the left is the kitchen. It's a minimal kitchen. I'm not quite sure what you do in here since there's no stove or microwave. No microwave, but the refrigerator does work. This is the woman's room because not having to guess too much, I think this is the men's room. Yeah. And it's Japanese toilets. Here, just relatively close to my room and up a little landing, is what is somewhat like an onsen, but it's the bath. So there you take a shower and you clean yourself really well. And then you have a washcloth, and there's soap provided, which is nice. And then you jump in the water here and you soak. So, oh, it's nice and warm like a jacuzzi would be. This is probably for cold baths. Okay, so that's pretty cool, don't you think? I'm looking forward to two experiences. One, sleeping on the futon, which should be no big deal after sleeping on literally a stone kang in the small village in China on a couple of blankets. I'm kind of excited about trying out the bath because I'll be going to places where onsens, which are baths fed by volcanic waters, underground waters, are very, very popular. And they're both, can be co-ed or they can be separate sexes, but the procedure is, and the protocol and the custom is pretty clear. What I found fascinating today, this morning, as I thought about it, and I do this oftentimes, I'll say to myself, what would you be doing if you weren't here? And what I'd be doing is figuring out what it was I could do or wanted to do if I were sitting in Jackson or sitting in Arizona on a Saturday morning, go for a hike, do some work, do some shopping, whatever. But stuff I've done for 50 years. Isn't it exciting to spend the entire day doing something you've never done before, encountering things you've never encountered before, like that high-speed bullet train. I've been on fast trains, China and France, but not that fast. And then to come here and be on these futons or tatami beds and then go in an onsen-like deal, pretty cool. Anyway, short clip. I'm en route to what I think is a really large park, but this is a very small neighborhood park near my hostel. And it's designed for kids. Here's a neat little pedestrian way that I think parallels the park. I was hoping it would have access into it to my right, but I'm not sure I see such an access. So I may have to go back and orientate from that direction, but I'll go this way anyway. Gotta be able to find entrance. So these trees are pretty, aren't they? Well, here's the park. It may be that it's closed. They're in fairly good sized bamboo forest, if you will. Along here, each of these posts has an inscription on it. But here's an anomaly. Looks like it's all buttoned. Looks like this is the entrance to the park here.